Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, doers. I'm Jackie Glass, Mama, Navy Fed, certified doer, and the laced up legislator for the House of Delegates, 93rd District. It is amazing to see you this morning. I know this looks a little weird for a background. This is weird. I am off working. We have our joint retreat this weekend for the Democratic side. This is our opportunity to sort of, talk to folks that'll be working with us over the coming bit, and then also get together. It's the one time that we all get to convene after our outside of session where it's like all of us. So I'm here. You'll see people going back and forth behind me, but I promise I'm we still locked in. I last week I chose not to do a live. I think I was out of town. I'm not 1,000% sure, but we haven't talked since the election, since since all the things that have been posted. So I'm definitely locking into what you all have on your head and your heart. There is a lot going on. I understand on the national stage, and I get why people might feel like this is really, really scary. This is really, really frustrating. What are y'all gonna do to help? What are we gonna do to support? So I do want to allow today, because I wasn't here last week. I want to give you all the opportunity to, think about what is on your mind right now, what is rising to the top, because I know that there's just so many things. So what's rising to the top of your list of stuff and things? And I'll let you drop it in the chat, or maybe what's the word that is resonating with you right now at this time in time, in this time in history. What's resonating with you right now? What I will say is we've got a couple really good things coming up, y'all. On July 19th, we will be having our summer school for certified doers. I'm going to make sure I get that posted, because I know sometimes I'm telling the doers on here and then we haven't gotten it posted. We've actually I've added folks to the team. I'm going to tell you, one of the biggest gaps I have with getting out to people is probably the youth. I having to connect with the youth and having to connect with the senior citizens. And I think that's partly because, at least from what I heard from the youth side, it's like our mental health is suffering right now. So like, we don't even want to talk to y'all, no way. And then the older folks, it's like our paychecks are not lasting as long as they got other stuff and things. And I do believe that you can tell a lot about a person and a city and a country by the way they teach, by the way they treat the oldest and the youngest among them, right? The folks that are different kinds of contributors to our, what we like to call our collective society. But yeah, hold on a second. So I do want to make sure everybody knows that we are having, what day is it? Our summer school. If you don't know what summer school is, let me put you up on game. If you don't know what summer school is actually the opportunity for people in the community. It doesn't matter where you live. You don't have to be in our district, but it is an opportunity for you to come out and learn all the stuff and things about the legislature, right? So like all this stuff. I will tell you about the process. I will answer your weird, if you think they're weird questions. I'll give you the inside scoop. Now, I do this both in person and virtually. So there will be an opportunity for you all to connect virtually if you're like somewhere where you're like, Jackie, I can't get to you and I still want to know about this process. Here's what I learned, right? I got elected in 2022. And when I got in there, I was like, why did I not know this? As a citizen, like as an everyday citizen, I was kind of pissy. Like, where can I find this information, and how? And I'm gonna use the word easy. I don't like, but how much I could have been influencing things, and I did not even know. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna demystify. I'm gonna be honest with you about maybe some of the behind the scenes stuff, because it be some behind the scenes stuff happening. it be some stuff behind the scenes that y'all don't know. And give you context. Most people come out of summer school realizing that it was eye-opening and an amazing sort of experience. But that, mark your calendar, July 19th. That is a Saturday at Norview Recreation Center. And that is going to be at, I'm pulling up the time, from 11 to 3:30. We're going to try to get you in, get you out, and all of that. Not only that, after summer school, we typically have what we call as a policy pitch contest, right? So you're going to go to summer school. We're going to teach you all the stuff and things. But then in September, we already have a partner with ODU, but we're working on getting other campuses involved. The pitch contest is where you can come with a piece of legislation and just pitch it to us. Just be like, here's what I got. Here's what I got. Here's what I want to be. And there's no age limit on it. There's no, you don't have to have an age on it. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's a huge opportunity. And I would love to see, love to see you guys be a part of this. I don't see anything in the chat, so I'm about to talk about something. I don't know if y'all are interested in it, but in this time, right? In this time, and I'm pulling it up because I thought y'all would have some stuff on your mind, but obviously everybody want me to talk all the time. yeah, David James class, policy pitch contest. It is a good time. It is. We get some really great feedback. I feel like I'm learning more about where people are guided. But what happens, I'll say, during summer school, sometimes people show up to summer school and they're thinking, yeah, I got this. I want to learn more about this piece of legislation. I want to do this. And honestly, we either end up connecting them with something locally or to something that could have already been helpful in fixing their problems. Two people, since we've started summer school, 2 people have become Civic League presidents. A kid changed their major, like, because of the conversations we had, not to political science. I'm not one of those people, because let me tell you, this work is less political science and more social work than anything. More social work than anything. But I want to hear from you, that we look for ways to interface, looking for ways to interface with you all in a very meaningful way, in a very meaningful, very, very, very meaningful way. I don't know how else to say that. But I would love to, again, today I would really prefer to sort of drop in and see what is going on with you all in life and all that good stuff. Yep. So Kristen Wheeler asks, is there a template or something to use to guide for policy pitch contests? Yep. So we built a template. People that signed up will get the template sent to them. We're getting our website overhaul, so I may have it on events there to say, like, and just have it out there for folks. But last year, when folks came to pitch, they signed up, we had the syllabus and the rubric of, like, how we're grading. The goal is not to just be sharks in a shark tank, but the goal is to find a legislator, find someone in the community that is also working on the thing that you're working on, to possibly turn it into, to take the next step on it. What is super interesting, I think, is that I meet so many people that be like, ain't nobody working on this. And I'm like, no, that's I don't know that that's true. I don't know that it's true that ain't nobody. First of all, that's a double negative. Just kidding. But yeah, I do. I think that it is about finding your people. And I think that's part of my role. Part of my role as a representative is to connect those dots. What I find sometimes is people think, how the heck do you know that? I'm like, because people come and get at my throat about stuff. People come at get at my throat get at my throat about all the stuff and things, all of it. Okay, all of it. So I'm grateful for y'all that come at me. I don't care how you do it. I'm a representative, so I should be able to take it. All right, so we got some comments over on Instagram. David James, I'm interested in a stronger country of origin labeling laws for Virginia. Tired of the same fake made in America marketing for foreign progress. Yeah, like the recent Trump phone. Oh, that's interesting. You're probably gonna think I'm out of touch, but anybody can tell me more about the Trump phone. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. But I think what you're saying is, at least what I think you're saying is, look, there should be stipulations to say that something is made in America, or maybe not say it's made, maybe say it's assembled in America, because it's not. The everything else comes from somebody somewhere else. Is that what you're getting at, David James? So you can't see his comments on the screen because he's on Instagram. Or just for those who are new here, that's how that goes. Yeah, I think that's what you're saying, and is that what you're saying? I think so. I think so. Some more. Oh, late to the party. Sorry. Kristen Wheeler said, I'm late to the party. Where are you at? We are at our Democratic retreat. So I am in the lobby area trying to find a good place with Wi-Fi, light, and all that good stuff to I would have preferred not to do it here, but yeah, so we're at a retreat where it's an opportunity for us to one connect as caucus, both the Senate and the House, and then it's an opportunity to get with all different people in all different industries. I've already like talked to farm folks and talked to folks that are possibly opening banks in certain places. Like, think of the gamut. It's a great way to have policy conversations under low stakes, low pressure environment. Yeah, it is a really nice. It's one of the few locations that can hold 300-400 people, because it's pretty much it's everyone. It's a huge deal, and while it is work, right, it's actual work and sometimes fatiguing. Um, um, I feel like it allows, at least the way I take advantage of. We do this once a year. The way I take advantage of it is I think about where I'm trying to go next year, things that are on my mind, and then seek out those folks that work in that industry so that I can be ready. And it's not the first time we're talking about it, right? That's the deal. Sometimes you get up to, here's what happens in the process of the legislative process is, like, I'll take, for example, I did a bill last year on autonomous vehicles, right? We worked with so many people, Volvo, all these different places, because Virginia doesn't have any laws, any regulations on autonomous vehicles. By the time we worked it all summer, called folks, some folks want to tap it in, but when I got to the General Assembly in January, my God, people act like this is the first time that they were hearing that. And it was like, no, 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 no. We reached out. We tried to do this. And then they didn't want to work on it during session. I mean, that's the odd part I find is when you have people that are here representing industries, right? I don't care what it is, when motion picture industry, whatever the industry is. And then you get to a point where you have to work on things. And because it's hard, because sometimes we choose to work on hard things. Actually, let me not say because it's hard, for their own preferred reasons. They say while we're in session, we can't work on that right now. That's a tough one. No, 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 no. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's a short session, a long session. It's not tough. You're here to do this. And I've had to tell people, like, your job is to work on behalf of your client. Your job is not to circumvent the process so that we don't have to work on this right now. So yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. So you asked, is there anything, Kristen Wheeler, oh, I'm late to the party. I still had that up. What's new with the creative economy? So much with the, I'm supposed to be meeting with the SAG-AFTRA first people, the Recording Academy folks, because I think we're going to be doing a lot more work on voice, right? Name, image, and likeness, and voice. We had a pretty significant falling out with the motion picture industry over people being able to have the rights to their voice, and when folks die, how long their families are able to benefit post-mortem from their own creativity. So take, for example, I think I talked a little bit about this, when Drake used Tupac's voice in that song. If they were in Virginia, there would be no protections for Tupac's family, because we have a post-mortem name, image, likeness, I think for 25 or 20 something years. Not only that, voice is not protected. And with the advent of AI, I think that's going to be a huge piece of what we need to do, is giving people the right to protect their own voice, and not, it is so wild to say that, but not have their voices stolen, not have their voices actually stolen. So I'm excited about that legislation. Well, I'll do some current events. I recently, and as you guys come in with your questions, I'll answer them. We got about 15 more minutes or so. Talk a little bit about something I recently read. I recently read, let me not say read. I have a really amazing team who's always trying to pick up on things and find things. And there was an article that was sent to me about Flock. I don't know if you guys know this. Flock, those the ALP, they call them ALPRs, automatic license plate readers, right? Those, if you're in the community and you see this like black pole that looks like it's powered by I don't know, it looks like it might have, God, I can't even think. It looks like it might have solar on top of it, and it's a little camera on it, small black pole. Like you'll miss it if you're not looking for it. Well, we have ALPRs, and actually Norfolk probably has the highest amount of I think that was a study. We have the highest in my district, right? In Norfolk, we have the highest amount of ALPRs per square miles than I think anybody else in the Commonwealth. There are over 300, I believe, in our city. Well, Flock is the company that actually breaks it down. Flock is the company that supports this software and things like that. So if a kid goes missing, folks are using Flock for this. That there's some really good uses for it, but there's some really nefarious uses. So the company who builds the software, which I think needs to be regulated a bit more, removed California, Illinois, and Virginia from its national plate lookup system. Do you hear me? Took us off the list. So the tool, as I said, it was previously used to let law enforcement agencies access plate data across lines if they shared their own data. So it's almost like, we're friends. We have an operating agreement. If you share your data with me, I'll share my data with you. And that's a good thing, right? Sometimes if you're trying to solve some stuff, because if a kid goes missing and goes across into North Carolina or up to Maryland or whatever, right? I'm playing devil's advocate here because there are some good uses, but here's why this matters, right? There were some reports that revealed that law enforcement agencies were using Flock systems to aid ICE to investigate this woman who had a self-managed abortion, right? Both are violations of state protections, right? So states like Virginia, Illinois have laws that prohibit out of state sharing of ALPR data for immigration and healthcare related investigations, right? We already have laws on the books for that. And so the response, there was some public pressure. And this is why I tell y'all, like, you are important. Please don't believe that you are not important. Most of the times, and I'm saying this as a politician, most politicians do not do things out of the goodness of their heart, right? Most of them. Sometimes it's for trauma, and most times it's for pressure. There are a lot of decisions that have to be made, and the court of public opinion it's real. Hold on. It's real. It's super real. So what happens? Here's what I'm trying to get back to the article. Yep. So public pressure, there were some legal inquiries that were made, right? Including one from the Illinois Secretary of State actually pushed Flock and local police departments to shut down or reconfigure the access that they had to these cameras. The big picture is this moves this move that they did signals that, you know, surveillance tech quietly sort of bypasses sometimes legal protections, and how journalism and legislation can equal accountability. Okay? Actually, let me do that problem again. Journalism plus public pressure plus legislation can equal accountability, and it really, to me, shows that local decisions, if you don't realize that, because it really depends on your locality, local decisions can ripple nationwide. All right, can really ripple nationwide. Um, yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Because here's the difficulty. Yeah, you said guardrails, mini guardrails needed. Yeah, money. What's the budget? What's the budget for flock? That's a great question. You'll have to. I would reach out to your locality and say, hey, I'm interested in. You're in Norfolk. It would be the Office of Budget and Strategic Operations. You can ask them. You can get a copy of the budget that your council has approved, and go through it. I actually encourage it. I think there's a need. I think there's a need to just do a whole separate summer school class on just reading the budget. Something that I'm also trying to get proficient with, because it's telling, it's helpful, right? To be able to ask the right questions of the right people about where we're spending our purse. Yeah. Okay, so Cousin It on Instagram said, from the communications director, Holly Beelan, Flock supports democratically authorized governing bodies to determine what public safety means to their community. Ooh, I like that. Yeah. Yep. So what Holly is ultimately saying is that Flock, it helps governing bodies, your council, your state, to determine what public safety actually means for their communities. And in some communities, that may mean enforcing immigration violations, and in others, this is not legally or socially acceptable. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Oh, I was doing the kids. Don't let me be a yeah. Does state of VA pay for flock? I don't believe they pay for flock. I think maybe state police might have. State police may have some in their budget. That's something we'll have to look and see. But um, yeah, state police may have something. We'll look and see. Here's the difficulty, right? As a legislator, something I have to hold in hands is that technology typically moves really fast. Okay. The law has to catch up oftentimes to the way that tech moves, and journalism is also a way to make that happen. But it's also, I think this also shows us something bigger, that we don't always know who's watching us and why, and when we find out, it's already personal. Right? It's already personal. So I think about, what can we do? Like, what can we do? So there is, on this particular issue, where Illinois, Virginia, and California, I think, are the ones that were on the list on this particular issue. 404 Media podcast. 404 Media 404. I'm saying this all kinds of wrong. 404 Media has a podcast, and I think you should take a listen. I'm going to take the opportunity to listen. I only read the article, but taking the time to listen, to, ascertain questions. And to me, it's always better to come prepared. I love being able to be prepared to ask more questions rooted in the knowledge. So I like to do my homework. I like to do my homework in that way. I think you need to talk about this with your neighbors. Like, actually explain to people. A lot of folks in your neighborhood probably don't know what an ALPR or an automatic license plate reader is, how they work, or how they're used. They have no idea, right? And so I think there is an opportunity for us to work with our neighbors and to understand how they work. The second thing, because, educate, right? Our pillars: educate, advocate. I'm going to go through those two pillars, right? Educate, advocate, because the legislation piece again comes on my backyard. So the second piece of advocacy, I think Virginia passed a law, and now we, right, our role is to watch how it's enforced. That's both me as a legislator and you as the general public, if that's something that you care about. I would ask my city, who's using these cameras? Push for transparency, because it's not just a state thing, right? While we are a Dillon Rule state and these localities, the county, cities, and towns are operating by the laws that we set forth, it is an opportunity to interface with your local government who made the decision to have these, right? And then also is a part of how they get used. So your role in this is to actually, let's push for transparency from your end, demand some reports, tell us we want to see, this is FOIA-able, right? Freedom of Information Act, and require some public input before any new technological surveillance equipment is approved, right? I believe that is like more than crucial. And then the last thing I think is, we can organize around this. If surveillance, because is your thing, we've done a lot on our office. We've done a lot of work on policing technologies. I come from a place of, how do we fund justice? I mean, how do we, oh my gosh, my brain just blanked. Yeah. How do we build trust? Excuse me. How do we build trust and fund justice, right? How do we do both of those things? Because both are necessary, right? So I think there's a level of organizing. If you're into it, host a community conversation, right? We can bring in the ACLU, right? We ask real questions like, who benefits, who's at risk, who's freaking accountable. And then the fourth thing I think is to protect yourself. You can, I think there's, let me look at this. Let me make sure this link is good, because I'm going to put it in the chat. I'm going to put it in the chat. Maybe that's not it. But yeah, protect yourself. Like, consider what, looking at what information's out there to protect sort of protect ourselves and protect our information. Okay, let me look over here. The Cousin It says on May 4th, Youngkin signed the flock surveillance bill. Yep. Any thoughts on schools to close or change VOTEC closing? I don't. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. I'm waiting for the public. I didn't get to go to a public input, but I do not understand why they would close VOTEC. Did that come out last night? Actually, hey, to be clear, there's a meeting today. If you're David James Glass, today, I believe that school closure committee is meeting today twice, once in the afternoon, once in the morning. I'm going to get that information to you right now, because, and what he's referencing I was going to say in Chicago, in Norfolk, we are going through a school consolidation. We're going through school consolidations, which means that we're going to be closing. They're looking at closing 10 schools. 10 schools, two a year for the next 5 years. I couldn't get it out. For the next 5 years. Yep. I'm looking. Trying to find out where. So I can't find it right now, but there are 2 meetings tonight. There are 2 meetings today, actually, on school closures. I would absolutely make the suggestion that you go and attend if you have the means to. But there's one in the afternoon, one in the evening. Esquire Jones says, "I appreciate you to continue." Oh, thank you. I really do. Esquire Jones one. My constituents make me better. They make me better. David James Glass said, couldn't they do a smaller class size and just keep the buildings running? So here's the deal with that, though. Like, we have absolute crumbling facilities. The cost to keep some of we have a real problem. And I would love, I don't know if I have the graphic here. This is why there needs to be a level of accountability. Why I appreciate the school board making the decision that they did. Over the past year, what we've seen enrollment significantly decline and dropouts go up. Like the graph literally does this thing, right? So as enrollment goes down, that means we are maintaining infrastructure that probably should have already been taken care, should have been maintained better. That is the thing I don't understand. As a person from the military, we do this thing called PMS, and no, it's not your cycle. It's preventative maintenance system, by which we have a maintenance plan for everything: your daily checks, your weekly checks, your monthly checks, your quarterly checks, your annual checks. And there's a process by which we check on these things so that they do not fall apart. I don't know what has happened with some of these aging schools. Some of them are just old. Some of them, it's like, even though they're old, listen, I don't think that we should be in this condition of repair. To be fair, right? This is my hypothesis as a come here, not a from here, is that the neglected schools tend to lie on the east side of Norfolk, right? That's not me being, I don't know what the word is. I'm not exaggerating. When you look at the list of schools, the vast majority sits on the east side of town. And I think that there's a reckoning that our city has to do with how it chooses to do economic development, how it chooses whether or not it chooses to look at education as a form of economic development, which it absolutely is. Right? Education is one of the higher forms of economic development, of keeping people in space and place. So I'm just, no, I don't think if you make the classes smaller and just keep the buildings running, there are investments that can be made in pulling everybody in one spot and making more investment into the learning, into the learner, rather into the building, right? The infrastructure. Because we need to make more investments in the learners and the educators and the processes by which we use. Yep. Okay. But yeah, I'm laughing because Ben Dope times two said, it's not your cycle. Yes, no, it's not your cycle, but preventative maintenance system. And it's something that everyone was responsible for. On active duty, we're all taught that we are firefighters first, and everyone is into maintenance and upkeep of the ship. We are responsible for our spaces and how they do. I would love to be a part of, in Japan, I believe the children help clean the school. They're a part of the process, a part of the maintenance process. This is like also learning how to keep a house. And you can say that sounds super crazy, but when you see the way that the kids are the ones who, we do this in the military. Our students, I taught A school, which is the primary school when people are coming in trying to learn. I taught, and our students had to clean the bathrooms. They had to take out the trash. They had to do the things. I am not saying that we're hiring them to do another person's job. What I'm saying is there's a thing called pride and ownership, right? And there's pride and ownership in their classes and in that school, which changes the way that they operate in that space. And so I think that there's a level of reprogramming that we have to do as Americans in American educational culture, which is hyper industrialized and less communal. I think developing the attitude of a communal education system rather than than what we have is both urgent and important. And that has to come from our end too. So if you're a community member, if you live in a community, that is also your responsibility. So when you see the young folks walking by and you don't speak and say hello, when you don't, do you're part of it. You're part of keeping that separation. And in this time, you have to, I'd love to stress that things like fascism and stuff like that, it is only able to thrive when we stay disconnected from each other. And I firmly believe that 5 neighbors with good information are far better than 5,000 trolls on the internet. I am telling you, it is true. It is true. My urgency to each and every last one of you doers this morning is to do you know your block? It is a real opportunity to say, hey, I'm just going to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the opportunity to get to know the people on my block. And I don't even say block. If you live in an apartment complex, do I know my floor neighbors? Take that chance, because I think people are looking to convene, looking to connect, and saying, don't nobody. And that's not true. Because every time I meet people, I hear the same thing. So it ain't no don't nobody. It ain't no ain't nobody. It's, are you being intentional? Are you actually being intentional? And you got to make that choice, doer. You got to make that choice as to how you do. But I think the world needs us to get past the hard lines of the screens and get to more of the softer lines of the trees, right? And faces and all the things. I'll get off my horse on that one. Um, uh, yeah, so but then we're going to watch old buildings turn into condos. It seems like they're trying to sell assets. You're probably right, and we do need more affordable housing. The problem with, I feel like, saying that is that affordable is shifting. I would love it if our city, if cities, period, would define what affordable is in their area. Like, what is affordable? There is market value and there's affordable. So I like to say that, yeah, we need more affordable, but who actually is determining what that is? And can we get to a point where we've decided that this is what affordable is? Right. This is based off of the way it costs to live here. This is what we believe, and say that to the general public so that when we build and say, all right, we've taken this old building, we've allowed someone to take this structure and turn it into condos or turn it into a multi, more housing, which is also needed, then we know that they're doing good by us and creating opportunities for people to live amongst each other without losing an arm or a leg or robbing Peter to pay Paul, as my grandma liked to say. So yeah, Christian Wheeler says redlining. That's how this happened. Thank you, Laurel, for agreeing. Ownership. Yeah, we need to unlearn and wipe our booty. We need to relearn how to wipe our own booties, she says, and I can hear your voice saying that. As someone who is employed at, and I'm gonna put this up here because people think I'm lying. As someone who is employed by MPS, you're speaking the truth. I'm trying. I think more of us have to just keep speaking our truths, which our truths are just that. And there are folks who believe that our truths are not true, but they are. Oh, when any upcoming fundraising events? Yes, we have another Hey Neighbor coming up in July. I want to say July. I'm trying to figure it out. In July, I believe. I should know these things. I'll get the date. I think it's July. But we have some fundraising folks coming on board to support us, to help us like get it together. Y'all, I'm gonna tell you, it's not easy. On July 26th from 9 to 12:30, that's when we have our next fundraiser. And yeah, we gotta fund it. Like, I'm just telling y'all, you have to fund the people you support. I can't maintain things sometimes because I don't like to fundraise, and I know what kind of times you are in, and it makes it very difficult for me to do that ask. But what I'm saying to you is that if you can give, like I have people that give $5 a month. That's what they do, and I'm grateful for it. It goes towards taking care of folks, taking care of things. So yes, we absolutely need it. If you don't want us to get funded by corporations or by industry then we have to community fund. That is the reality of this work. So yes, I don't know if we're having any cakes and cocktails. We typically have one or two a quarter. So I'll let you all know. There was something that piqued my interest that I wanted to make sure that I said, and we'll get there. I'm just telling y'all, I'm gonna start dropping the truth about what's happening with the school system too. I mean, I've been seeing people, very upset about the firing process, but y'all gotta understand. You don't have to understand. What I want you to understand, my lens on what was happening in our schools and the take that I take on the superintendent. When you have a leadership that is vehemently opposed to connecting with their partners. I'm a state legislator. We provide funding. We do legislation of how things operate in and outside of our schools. When I have a superintendent that's unwilling to have conversations, not only with me, but with community partners, with other legislators, both local and at the state level, that is wild. That is absolutely wild. It's substandard. And then when you look at the data of what's happening with our school, while also giving grace to the fact that that you're trying to lead us through COVID, you do better. So as we start to release, I'm gonna show y'all all of the stuff I got, because I think you need to know. Before accountability's sake, you need to know, because it makes no sense. It makes no sense to me that people are outraged when this has been going on for me for at least 2 years with the school system. right? If you got somebody that is more concerned about how you make them look than how they take care of our children, you got a problem. And I did say that to our superintendent when she wrote me a letter back after I had to show up to a school board meeting to get some answers. It's like, this is vain. What you're doing is vain, and it is absolutely, it's disgusting. So I think the whoever decided that they were going to hold a celebration for her at council is substandard and also doesn't give a shit about our schools. Couldn't, because if you did, then you would have been speaking up. The way that you celebrated her at that council meeting is the same way you would have been advocating for our kids when we came to you. Because don't think that I didn't go to my council members too, right? Don't think that we didn't have that. Like, don't think that's like, I think it's quite frankly bullshit. And the kids can't wait on us to be adults. They can't. They don't have that time. And parents are frustrated and educators are frustrated. And it is really, and I find myself getting hot. I'm getting hot. Because I think, how the hell do you do that? It is a slap in the face to our kids. And wait till these kids get on here and tell you how it was for them, how they don't feel safe. We had a girl say that she, friend of mine who ran for office said she was at a door that a girl says, I'm just going to quit. And I just went to school this past year, 2 boys that were waiting to turn 18 to drop out. You know what I'm saying? Because of educators not feeling safe. And you have a superintendent that's ignoring all of that and telling us that we're making it up. It's crazy. This is why we were under a DOJ investigation, and no one wants to talk about that. And then go to the news agency and say essentially they shouldn't be writing about the fact that they're under investigation. That is quite frankly bullshit. None of us should be okay with that. And so I'm going to say this again to you doers, is that education is a form of economic development. When you have people having children and saying, I got 5 years to figure out how to get the hell out of this city, you got a problem. You're going to see population stifle. We live in an amazing place. I don't know where you live, but I know where I live, I love. Right? I am so happy for my chosen hometown, but I am over this. This is why I said we need more people that are competent, that care, that understand. I don't care what walk of life. You don't even have to have kids. Just anyway. I'm gonna get off that horse, but I'm looking for folks that want to run for office. There'll be a date. I don't want to put the date out there because I want these people to feel safe and supported to come and talk with us about why they want to run and how we can get to the next leg. Because we're gonna work this summer because elections are next year. So let's go. Okay, I'm gonna try to go through a couple things, and now I gotta head out because I have mandatory fun. Right? There's this thing called mandatory fun here where I have to connect. With folks and stuff like that. So let me look. Y'all are talking back and forth. David, James, I understand that. That's why I said that about affordability, that $350,000 condos is not affordability. And I would push for my city to determine what is affordable, right? Like, what's that number? When you had in Tidewater Gardens, the median salary was like $12,000-$13,000, you got a problem, right? How do we get those people to economic mobility? And I'm working on some economic mobility innovation. So stand by for that, about not punishing people for trying to work their way off of assistance. So we got a program that's designed to make them stay. Okay, cousin, y'all talking about good job. Yeah, doers talking back to each other. I need to start doing that. I've seen a plan you can look up. It's public knowledge, city council. Yeah. Rumors started and confirmed. If you ever have any questions, hey, come here, come say hello. If you ever have any questions, do not hesitate, right? It is your opportunity. Okay, doers, I told y'all I'm at do y'all know this guy? You don't, if you recognize him, you put in the comments. I won't be shocked. Oh, Kristen said, let them know you're late because you're doing mandatory fun with the people. Okay, I will tell them. I'll tell them. Okay, so this is sad. It's okay if it's sad. I cannot read all of this. Okay, all the time because I got to get ready to go. But this is Delegate Alex Askew.
Good morning.
Also represent. Oh, tell them about you.
Good morning. How are you all doing? Alex Askew, delegate from the 95th District, which is Virginia Beach and the eastern part of Norfolk. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Delegate Glass for all the work that you do.
We're not doing that. We didn't talk about me.
Folks of Norfolk, but grew up in Virginia Beach, College Park, Level Green, and represent that currently, and just it's an honor to do that and to work with you every day.
But also shares Norfolk. Look, Kristen would say, morning, Delegate Askew. Good morning.
Kristen, how are you?
Yeah, also works. So we don't get to, I feel like delegates are like cousins. We're at the family reunion real quick. We get a quick family reunion, a hot take, and then and
pop out.
And then pop out. Yeah.
Good to see
you. Be on. Take care. All right. Hey. Okay, y'all. So let me get ready to go. Jackie, I'm trying to run Jackie. Not next year though. We'll talk. Please do. Sounds like y'all Trump. Stop fighting us on stuff. Alex, somebody said, is he married? He cute. Okay, y'all. Okay. Tallwood, high alarm. Okay, Tallwood. Okay, got y'all. So y'all know some stuff and things. Okay. Good morning, Nathan. So glad to have you on here. Okay. Okay, y'all. Okay, so I do gotta go before I get in trouble. Like, that's why he was trying to go. We have to eat, and then we have to be at our mandatory conversations where folks that want to be with us. I think I'm going to be meeting with a lot of the folks on the technology side today, which should be interesting. I'll let you know how it goes. Just getting to know where people are moving around and how we can do this work better together. I so appreciate y'all being here this morning. I mean that. Do not ever hesitate to reach out to our office, deljglass@house.virginia.gov. That is Virginia spelled out. Phone number 757-472-1293. It's like 123, but they put the 9 in there because we're District 93, right? We're trying. All right. I appreciate you. What I'm going to say this, Doers, before I go, is I appreciate you taking space in your space. You do not have to do all the things. I personally cannot do all the things. I cannot carry all the legislation. I cannot be in every neighborhood. It's not possible. That's the only reason why I'll say I can't, because it's physically impossible for me, but we are networked. And that's what is important with the Doer network, is that we are networked and that we find a way to make sure that we are staying connected. You need to be brilliant on your thing. And I don't care. It's like getting a PhD in flowers, right? Like, you don't get a PhD on all the flowers. When you get the narrow scope, and I'm saying this because there's a book on peonies in front of me, that you get a doctorate on peonies, and only pink peonies that grow in Virginia. That's how specific a doctorate is. And that's how I'm asking you to get on your issues. Narrow that scope so that we can move to the top, right? So that we can move on that piece. And then you find your people, because people are out there. All right. It is with love and gratitude that I do this work with you, that we get up in the morning and we do this together on Thursdays. You all are the best of us. Go out there and be light. All right. Drink water because you are a flower, and get sun because you are a flower, right? You're a living thing, and so are flowers. All right. Let me make sure. I know I see so much in here. So I appreciate you. I value. Let's get this housing conversation going. I'm with you, Nathan. Be well. I'm Delegate Jackie Glass, Mama Navy vet certified dual safe legislator, saying, do great, be great, make it a great day, closer to history. Take care. Bye, y'all.